argue.
So I'm here with Jim Bohnhoff, who arguably has had more visual impact on downtown Northfield over the last 20, 30 years than just about anybody. Maybe even John North.
Yeah, it's a little different type of, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about your business and what you've been up to with the historic sign. So
Yes.
Repair was first. When did that start kicking in with you? Like, okay, there's people knocking on my door asking about it.
So it ended up that I was doing the, like the menus and there was a place called Biagio's that came in, and there was lots of different places coming and going, and I was doing logos and getting them all the promotional stuff, and in the process it was just natural to design the signs. So I started doing signs, and it was kind of fun. I had gotten a couple, actually, then I just sort of started making them. I thought, well, I can make these signs. I designed them, and I started making them, and I had done a large one for Biagio's and this one for Takarajima, but I went really all so much into it. I like designing the signs, not necessarily much of the building of it. Yeah, so I just kind of petered with it and didn't do a lot, didn't do as much back then, mostly just jobs that I'd done. Then I think it was when the co-op started, a bit before that I'd been starting really doing a lot. And then I did those large signs, that did that logo for the Just Food.
Just Food, okay.
And I did did all this stuff and designed these large signs. I thought, well, I could do that, So I did that, and they're big signs, and it was kind of fun. So that kind of started me thinking, I kind of got a kick out of it. And
yeah.
It had some merit, and I think it was fun to see it accentuating and hopefully making the town look better.
Yeah.
So that was the plus.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this idea of signs that would win approval by the overlords of downtown design.
That's the historic preservation.
That's the phrase I was looking for.
Yes, that's it. HPC. I've been there many times. Ever since the very beginning. I met with the Chris Hagers and the Jim Harites and gosh, if I can name all the great people on. And honestly, I was a big supporter of what they did, and I still am. And I think it's not quite as strong as it used to be, to be very honest with you. It shouldn't be easy to do that. I mean, to me, signs they come and go. They're not like the facade of the building. They accentuate it, and I think I like the creativity and the way that you're able to do things that are a little bit different. Signs are a little different than if I'm taking an historic building. Sure. They should change it. Signage has to take on the flavor of the building. Yeah, I mean, I hope I try to recreate some flavor of it, but I don't want to just make a historic sign. They have to be compatible with the history, is how I look at it. Because it's all about the business, It's like throughout from the very beginning of Northfield. I mean, you want people. If you have a retail business, you want people in, and the way to get them in is you have to have some signs saying what you do, and it's pretty simple. And either you start out with simple signs, complex signs, whatever. But in the end, if it brought people in through the door, that's what counts.
And the library counts.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it
we want people in the door for the library. So
right, exactly.
This a public project. I know you've done some work for the city of Northfield, so this was kind of a natural for you to get involved in. But I imagine the process for a sign for a public institution like a library is probably longer than, say, a bagel shop.
Well, I guess I never thought of it that way, to be very honest with you. I kind of took it the same way that I would deal with anywhere else. And yes, there was more fiddling around. It took considerably longer, yes.
Okay.
But it wasn't. I don't.
So for the library, did it start with an interview with Teresa Doctor, the director of the library, who we just saw?
Yep. Okay. Sounded with Teresa, and it kind of started with a fellow, I forget his name now, who had come to her and saying, "Oh my gosh, we're kind of missing something down here." I'd always noticed that the library sort of had this. You have this huge walls, and it seemed like a citadel or something that you couldn't really reach it very easily. It wasn't very welcoming to the street side. It's very more welcoming, of course, to the east side. But this side was always kind of, wasn't friendly. So when I started thinking, gosh, that's what it needs, is something to kind of help people relate to it, that it's the library's right here, it's simple, and it's, yet it relates to this historic downtown.
So then, from Teresa, did it go to city council, or did it go to...
No, it didn't. Actually, I didn't go to city council on this particular thing. It went through, I basically put together what I would put together for the HBC. I put together sheets that showed exactly what it was going to look like. We'd actually originally were going to put a piece on this corner down here that would have been more possibly an interactive, something a little more complicated.
Okay.
And I actually built out of cardboard a model of what that would look like, and it was going to have times, what's happening that week, a little more information. After looking at it, it wasn't as important. Okay. And I think that was we kind of realized that. So it took some design time. It took time to think about what they really wanted. And then this concept came, having looked at this, I kept thinking this big buttress just cried out.
The bow of the ship.
Exactly. It cried out for something that would tie in this whole area. Yeah. And all of a sudden it was like, wow, that's it. And then so I did all my sheets, and I put it in used Photoshop, and I put the signs so they look exactly what they turned out like. And same then this monument sign in the front was needing something. So we did it, I would say, semi-economically, without getting all carried away. But I did it in a way that I think is sensitive to the rest of the signs and things in downtown. So that's really.
And so, you have the sign above the library too.
Yes.
Above the door.
All are welcome here.
All are welcome here. So how did that
evolve?
come about?
Yeah, good question. Now that one did take longer. That was words, and all of a sudden the words, it did take a number of weeks for whoever, I was privy to all that, who was deciding what they were going to put up there.
Yeah.
I had put Northfield Library or something, something very simple, or Carnegie Library, but then they decided they wanted something a little more telling up there, and I think that was good. I liked it. I thought it was a great idea.
Something poetic, since we seem to have
a
lot of poetry on the sidewalk.
There's a motif here. There's the one right there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yes.
So this is middle of May. Early May? What do you have? What have you just finished working on besides this library project?
Well, in the process, there's a new tattoo shop that had moved over to the Kinship Tattoo and Kinship Collective.
That's where Cocoa Bean was, right?
Yes, where Cocoa Bean, and that was a large sign, a couple big signs. They're kind of fun. They're very interesting, different-looking signs. I mean, they each have to. I was saying, I'm hopeful that my signs bring out a personality, and that's, if anything, I'm not trying to make the perfect sign or the one that looks. I'm hopeful that it'll have something that will drive people to say there's personality in their sign, and there's personality inside this business. Okay. The other one that was I had finished up was Tansenwall Brewery.
Tansenwall Brewery just opened a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago. That was a large sign. I worked with Mike Peterson just right outside of town. It's a steel sign, so it's a little different than I make a lot of my signs out of wood. And I still used wood to cut out the main part of the Tansenwall, but at the backing is all steel, sheets of steel. Okay. That I actually then took the steel, Mike and his crew cut it out, and then I used a formula to give it a patina. So I patinaed the large sheet, and then I drilled lots of holes, and I installed all the rest of it onto the sign. So yes, and that was a big sign.
That was a big sign.
Yeah, it was nice, and I'm just getting started. I finished the sign today for Young's Painting in Dundas, which was a sidewalk sign, kind of interesting. And now I'm just getting started. I've been working for months on the imminent brewery.
Oh, cool.
But and I've got everything ready to start cutting and painting that. So that'll be, hopefully we'll have done in a couple of weeks. So by the end of May, for sure. Last week of May.
You're participating in the economic boom from the brewery business.
Yes. That doesn't hurt, I'll tell you. And
so the ironwork on this particular sign.
Yes.
So you worked with Mike Peterson on that?
Same thing. Mike, they built that. And then Howie helped me, Howie from Eco Gardens. I
Okay.
have to mention Howie. And he helped us install it. It was a huge challenge.
I got photos of it.
Oh yes, right. You were there. Right, exactly. Yes. Well, it was more challenging. There's so many different angles in this that it took a couple starts and stops to get it proper. But we got it now. So proper. Well, proper means solid.
Yeah, solid. Okay.
So, but we got it.
So if some little kid tries to crawl up there,
yes,
it'll hold.
Solid. Oh yeah, it's a heavy duty piece.
Okay, good.
It is a heavy duty piece. Yes.
Well, one of the things I want to do as soon as we're done here is have you do a little bit of a walking tour so I think I saw on your website, which was jimbohnhoffdesigns.com, right?
Yep.
That you've done maybe 40 projects
In town here?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think about 100 and close to 140.
Oh,
signs.
maybe it was 100. Okay.
I mean, I know it's baffled me. It had been, I was surprised once I started putting it all together, and that was about 5 years ago, and
Okay.
I was up slightly over 100. And so I've got to get that right. But yeah, there has been a lot. Of course, a lot of them have come and gone, like
Sure,
so
yeah.
many things.
I saw you at Pan Cafe was.
Oh yeah, if I were to do a study of this downtown, I mean, it's fun to see because it is a place of commerce. That's why people shouldn't be able to speed downtown, and they should have more lighting at night. Important things, because if you want a commercial district, you need to really cater to the people who are coming in. The only way these people are going to stay in business is to have people come through their doors. So that's we know about it, and I think that's why the signs are important, and that's why the HPC is important. There's places. I mean, I won't get into. I was thinking that.
The politics, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but I think quality. We've shown quality throughout this place without extravagance,
Right.
And I think that's what the town is about. It is quality stuff without being any dining. It has its own charm that way, and I think it only has more charm with more activity. Yes, the cow was a good example when Norman put that must have been a good 10 years ago when he put that. And he just started projections.
Cow. Yep.
Yeah, projection signs, and so we did that big mug, and then Dan at the Goodbye Blue Monday will walk by there, and that was probably the first sign. That was the most controversial, really, at the beginning. I'll never forget. I wish I could remember all the people in that little space. And then there were Steve Edwards, of course. We'll never forget Steve Edwards because he was the classic.
And you worked for Steve for a while, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Right, but he had no mercy. He was merciless in a good way because he wanted
things right. Yeah, quality.
And I always appreciated that. I think it's much better than being too lenient. But yes.
So how many of you and I are getting to be a certain age, Jim?
Yes, yes, we are.
How many of your signs do you think are going to outlive you?
Oddly enough, I was thinking of these signs, and I thought. So usually, you kind of figure you kind of want 10, 15 years, maybe 18, 19. We had certain signs you can do for 15 years and then kind of touch them up and clean them off and stuff. And I was thinking, I'm going to be getting close. Maybe I won't be going up on the ladder in 15, 20 years. You never know. I'll have a little porta thing I'll take around, and it'll just lift me around, and I can touch them up. Maybe that'll be my...
If you do that, I'll be there to take your photo, man.
You be documented.
All right, Jim. Well, thanks for taking time. This is pretty cool to see what you've created. We'll have a couple of photos of you with the signs, with Teresa, and with Howie in the installation, and then we're going to do a little walking tour of downtown.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.